Oh, everyone else uses dark thing.
Yeah, I do out of laziness, and because it's not a full black. If it's full black, I get tracers. So I can't do a black screen like everybody else does.
Tracers?
Yeah, like I can actually when they I can still see the white letters even after they're
Oh,
yeah. So
understandable.
it really trips people out because I use the white one, and in gaming I use a pale gray rather than a white background. So people are always like, "What's going on? What are you doing?"
I got a lot of shit when I did. I was on a live stream. I showed Discord. Just heads up, I have a tendency to fall off the. All right. Well, hey, Millie, it's nice to meet you.
And you?
So you're a GemStone player. How long have you been playing?
DragonRealms player.
Sorry, I'm way off. I'm sorry, DragonRealms. Yes,
I have tried GemStone way back in, I want to say, 97 I tried it. But DragonRealms is what I started with, and that's what I really enjoy. So I started Melly December of 96, right after AOL went unlimited. Before that, I had a couple that were on the on those discs that we kept getting. I had a new one every month or less.
A new character?
Yeah, because you got 30 free hours. So I would play those 30 free hours. And then I'd have to start over because I was cheap and wasn't going to pay for it because I was a teenager.
Honestly, that must really suck. It's like you put all that effort in, 30 hours, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I'm making a new one.
Well, back then, 30 hours got you like maybe a couple of circles. So it was a good way to try things out. But then AOL went unlimited, and I said, hell yes, and went from there.
So you said circles. You want to tell me what those are?
Circles are the levels in DragonRealms. It's just another name for it, and because things level up, like different pieces in the game and whatnot, so we use circles instead. I found myself using it in other games when tabletop games or computer games or whatnot. I'll slip and use that terminology.
So do people look at you funny when you do that, or
Usually. And then I'm like, oh wait, this is the wrong audience. And then I correct myself.
So you've been playing since 96 then?
Yeah. Okay. Off and on. I've taken a couple of breaks because real life must come first. Period. Mm-hmm. And sometimes real life had to come first. So I took some breaks. But yeah, off and on for 28 years now.
Okay. Well, what brings you back after all this time and keep coming back?
The community is amazing. The people are absolutely what bring me back every single time and keep me every single time. There are friends that I've made that I came back and they're like, are you still you? AKA, did you sell the character and buy it? Or did somebody buy it? But I'm like, oh, no. I still have you in my highlights list. They're like, yay! And we pick up like nothing ever dropped. And that's wonderful.
That's awesome. Are you meeting some of those people here?
Not some of the ones that I've known since way back when we were all still young and had healthy wrists, but but I've met them in other locations at other cons or just I've spent hours on the phone hanging out with them.
Okay. So where are you from?
I'm from Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove here.
You have legal psilocybin mushrooms there, right?
Okay.
For recreational. It's medicinal only, right?
I don't know. I know we have rec pot, but I'm allergic to it. So, and I'm a really bad control freak. So I stick with caffeine is my drug of choice, followed far distant place by Tylenol, and then even more distant is alcohol.
Okay.
Beyond that, everything else is I'm boring. I'm sorry.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So how do you like St. Louis so far?
I like it. Driving is a little bit intimidating because y'all don't drive like we do. Is really what it comes down to. So
Everyone says that about other states. Like in Missouri, we always bash Illinois.
Oh well, they're Illinois. You're supposed to bash them, but it's you get used to where you're from. You get used to around this corner. Everybody slows down because there's that tiniest hill, and they're not used to it, even though they've been driving around that corner and up that hill for forever. They still keep slowing down. So you get used to that in your home area. There's an exit on my way to work that I know I'm going to lose 5 miles per hour every single time, even though nobody is there.
Oh, hey, as long as you're safe, right?
Yeah, right. But you get used to your own idiots rather than everybody else's idiots.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So.
Well, do you plan on doing anything else here in St. Louis during SimuCon, or?
I don't know. There's also moisture in the air here, and I'm really not used to that, and it's making me feel kind of iffy. But there was a really neat concert happening last night out in the courtyard.
In Westport?
Yeah. And like they were taking tickets for people to sit on the grassy area. So that was really neat to see. And may, tour around a few places, eat places that we don't have at home or are otherwise just unusual. So I might do that.
Okay. So what do you think of St. Louis style pizza?
I have not had it. I've been told everything from here, you have to try it. Like, hey, smell the milk, it's bad. To, hey, you have to try it because this is so unique and different. So that is on the list of things to try. I just don't know if I'll get to it this year.
Okay. I would recommend, but I'm a local, so I'm biased. So
100%.
Well, do you want to tell me about your character?
I have a halfling empath who is mouthy and naughty. I toe that line. I'm like, here's that line. I run right on up to it. And then I see how far I can stick my toes over before I get slapped. And she's a little bossy. Just a little. And yeah, I enjoy having her. That's another part of the reason I keep coming back is because no other game that I've played has had this style of character available. Because in DragonRealms, empaths don't have to hunt. We can, which is still new enough to me that it's uncomfortable, but we don't have to. We can advance completely fine from rolling up to being on top of the game without ever hunting.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually an empath too, technically.
Oh, nice.
That's what I picked. Well, I went through, I gave it some thought. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make a cool character, and then I'm like, well, you know what, actually, I'm not so much into the text-based gameplay. It's too much to get into for me. It's just a lot of time consumption, but it seems cool.
Yeah. What you can do, at least what I do, is I highlight everything that's important, and I pretty much ignore the rest. Which makes people say that Skittles have thrown up on my screen because there's colors everywhere for things that matter to me. They may not matter to anybody else, but they matter to me.
Oh, as long as they matter to you. It's your screen.
Yep, that's right. And I play by color half the time. I'm like, oh, I see this combo. Well, I'm gonna hit do done. And then
Do you have a backstory?
The problem with playing and then going away and coming back after a few years and playing and going away and coming back after 10 years that last time is that I've forgotten most of it. Mm-hmm. I do know that she came from the tiny little town outside of our main area and always an empath, oldest child. She does have in backstory about 70 descendants because all of my vault alts, the characters that just haul around my extra crap because I am a hoarder, um, are her kids. So yeah, she's a hoarder. She really is. But there's so many pretty shiny things. So, but yeah, they're all her kids and grandkids, and it's all just role play.
Okay.
But yeah, she's old and grumpy and has earned it.
You say naughty too. What do you mean by that?
Well, I am absolutely inappropriate. Innuendo is one of my best friends. Lots of innuendo, lots of. I have a custom title of misbehaving mischief because that's kind of it's very appropriate.
Can you give us an example?
I will. I'm trying to find ones that are going to pass the PG-13 test.
Oh no, you can on my channel you can do whatever you want. Just don't use the N word. YouTube doesn't like that.
Ew, no.
Or it's starting to kill anybody.
Oh well, that's fine. I absolutely will use innuendo. I will help provoke people to cause trouble, cause chaos, make noise, do things that. Think of your sibling's best friend that your parents really, really didn't want in the house. And that's Melly.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think of the text-based gameplay?
I like it because I am a huge reader. I and this is actually why I highlight a lot of things is because I've read the same stuff over and over again, like the game location descriptions. I've read those. I know which ones to highlight for things that are going to be important, like, oh, hey, there's a door. I need to go through that door. But I like the creativity that has gone into building these worlds, making them feel real in a way that I can't get out of something like WoW. Because there you are seeing somebody else's, this is their house. Whereas in a text-based game, you have to actually be creative and think about it.
Mhm.
But I am a highly visual brain person. I get the whole movie where some people are like, they don't get any of that. So
for you, it's more descriptive than seeing it.
yeah, it absolutely is. It's my version instead of somebody else's.
Okay, makes sense. So do you engage in role playing at all?
I do. I absolutely do. I prefer it. I'm not one of the heavy role players that have the intense. I am part of this, that, and the other. But if it comes down to, hey, what did you watch the game last night, or hey, we're gonna go to the tavern and have a few drinks and BS about blah, whatever current local friendly event is happening in the game. I'm going to the tavern instead of sitting around and talking about out of character stuff. Real life has to come first, but real life is often boring.
True.
And this is my escapist fantasy. I'm okay with that.
So what do you do at the tavern?
Drink, eat the in-game food. I've spent a lot of money in the in-game taverns. I have. We've got one in game that has like a dog that lays there in front of the fireplace, and I love going to that one because here's a dog that I can pet in game. Well, before we got puppies, there's a dog I can pet, and it's like, hey, that's just like that's the dog that's sitting right next to my feet that I'm petting with my foot while I'm playing game. So that I like being able to do that. The little touches, they make me happy.
When you're drinking in the game, do you drink in real life too? Like every time your character takes a drink, you.
I don't have the liver for that. My character can cast flush poison. Alcohol is technically a poison, so she can keep on drinking like nobody business. But I can't do that. So, but yeah, no, I tend to not drink in game because that's when stupid things happen. You say words that are not allowed, and you get in trouble. And I don't want to get banned. Like I said, this is my escapism. I want to stay here.
Was that a common phenomenon that people get in trouble, or?
I have known more than one person who has played while less than in total control of their faculties. Whether that's being overly sleepy, having indulged in something, etc., and has gotten a warning, has gotten kicked out for repeatedly using naughty words. And I have a mouth like a sailor that with a construction accent, and yeah, I know me. I know me.
Okay.
I know better.
Well, you don't have to answer this, but do you engage in the erotic role play, or have you?
No, I have in the past because I've been doing this for forever and everything is new once. But no, no need.
Yeah, not really my thing either. I tried it once, not in this game, but
Right, but
yeah.
yeah, it's just meh. There are other reasons for that.
You do player versus player?
Technically, no. Empaths in DR, if we hit another living being, we're going to take shock, which damages our healing ability. And I like healing. It's something that I've been doing for so long. It is what is right for my character. So hitting somebody else is a no. But at the same time, I'll go to a spar. I will heal everybody there. I am actually one of the tournament directors for the Wyvern Arena, which is our weekly spar session. There are those of us who have special powers to let people in and adjust the power level in the arena and so forth. I'm one of those. I'm attorney director, so I do that, but I don't actually engage in it. I don't ever hit anybody. I find it fun, just not for me.
Okay. And you, okay, so Magic's having some problems in the game right now. Do you have any thoughts on that and what's going on there?
Melly has the feeling in the back of her brain that this is all the empath's fault because of the way that the empath guild was handled back in our prehistory. We were the big bad evil. But
hey, that's not true.
We knew too much, we could do too much, we could feel too much, and we were way too powerful. But we've got an amazing PR crew. And so back of her brain, she's like, oh God, this is our fault too, isn't it? But she's never going to tell anybody that. I, as the player, I'm intrigued, but I haven't had the ability. I haven't been able to get involved in anything, but I've seen some of the theories coming out that are amazing. My favorite is still the guy who tried to sue essentially their magic givers.
I haven't heard that one.
So, Herbage, and I sure hope I pronounced his name correctly, is a trader. Traders didn't used to have magic, but by hook and by crook, they made a deal with extraplanar entities to be given magic. And then when magic got turned off, this was a violation of our deal. We had a contract. So he decided that he was going to sue them to find out, to say, hey, you owe us. And it's like a class action lawsuit in game
against the extraplanar entities.
Yes, and people are like, what in the world? This is a take nobody saw coming. It is fabulous, and I love it so much. And I don't understand any of it because I don't play a trader. I have one character, and I've never. I mean, other than almost 30 years ago, playing other things for a couple of weeks, a month at a time, never really played anything else, despite many, 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 many urgings. That's all I play. So I don't really get what's going on for the others. I don't want to. It kind of ruins the mystery for me. But he had a fabulous idea and hit the ground running with it.
So there's courts in the game? Like, how is this determined, the outcome of the lawsuit?
I don't know. It's because, again, I wasn't able to get involved in this. But apparently somebody from their side came and tried to renegotiate, which I love that. And I want to know more, but I've been prepping for SimuCon, and I wasn't able to actually get into it, but I really want to know.
And what are the extra planar entities? This is the first time this has come up,
Oh.
I think, in the interview. So I have no idea.
They are the negotiants for the arbiters, or the arbiters for the negotiants. Those are terms that I've seen thrown around, and I do not think they are 100% equal, but I'd have to double check with somebody or triple check. But essentially, the traders went to these extraplanar people and they were like, hey, we'll let you put a crystalline thing in our spines and give us magic because we're cool. And the arbiters were like, so we get to slowly do things. Okay. And they got magic. So this was ages and ages and ages ago of real time. So, but yeah, it's been fun. The GMs were all fighting to see who got to respond to this because it was a take no one saw coming.
And then there's also people in space jail too.
Yes, they are in space jail. They are being sought relentlessly. That's
Okay. Well, they had a little secret meeting here earlier, so
yeah. And I think it's awesome that they were able to sit down and and see each other and be like, so we're kind of stuck. We're sitting around here. What's going on for us? Because we're all able to play our characters as normal. We're able to do things and have chaos and craziness. And they're so. How about that formless lump over there? Sounds good. Looks kind of like that one looks like a rock. You think that one looks like a rock? Yeah, that one looks like a rock.
now, what does space jail look like? I wonder.
I don't know, but
I
I'm
should have
curious.
asked. I interviewed one of the space jail people.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. Maybe again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can answer this one of two ways, both ways if you want.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of the future of the game? And you can mean this in terms of the game world, or in terms of the game as a commercial product, or you can give two answers.
Okay. Game world, I think, is going to be a continuously living, breathing place. It is expanding. It is evolving, slowly, more slowly than we like, but it does keep happening, and it does. It is a living game because it is something that's open 24/7, and it's not you can only play Saturday from 2 to 4. It is constantly open for people to be in and influence, and I love that. Even if it's something as simple as just leaving a sign somewhere, because we do have signs you can drop, and even if it's just doing that, it's still a way to, this is my game, this is my place, this is my world. And I think that's going to keep going until, on the commercial side, until the doors shut. Because I remember when Herc and Xena went down. I remember when Modus Operandi went down, Cyberstrike. These games did eventually close. They weren't played. They weren't financially responsible for keeping their own lights on. But we have people who are dedicated, and I see that it will keep going for many years, just based off of the fervent devotion.
Okay. And do you have any thoughts on scripting?
As a tool, scripts are helpful in saving our wrists, because after a while things start hurting. I have a vertical mouse, I have an ergo keyboard, because you can only type attack so many times before your hands are like, I'm done, we're out. But I know that it is a contentious topic, and I don't ever want to get caught AFK scripting, so I don't.
Okay. Do you have a house in the game?
I do. I have one that is That is absolutely
You're not even on camera, so like,
yeah.
you're just interacting with nobody. According, if you
Yeah,
look at this.
according to that, I'm just reaching over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a house. It is very much set up for being a cozy little closet because Melly has an addiction to pretty dresses, and I ran out of space to store them in my vault. So I store some of them in the house, all over the place. So it is an overflowing closet, but it's comfortable. It's welcoming.
So, what do you think of fashion in the game? Since you can't physically see it, but you have to imagine what they're wearing, essentially.
I love it. There is such a variety of people's tastes. Everything from what I feel is kind of cliche, I am all in black because I am mysterious, to people who are incredibly extra on our characters. I love the way that people can express their personality, express their role play. Somebody who's all in dirt and has rats running around and it's filthy and nasty gives a hugely different feel from somebody who's wearing silks and heels and shiny blingy jewelry dripping from everywhere. And you can tell which of them is more likely to get down and dirty on in a fight normally.
Okay. All right. So, are you involved with a? Are you married in the game, or?
No, because reasons. Um, no, I have been, but stuff happens. People sell their characters. People quit playing. You get into a huge fight, and it's a hell of a lot easier to get a divorce in game than it is in real life. So,
Okay, makes sense.
yeah,
Any thoughts on monetization? How they monetize the game?
we do have to keep the lights on. That's the thing. And given that subscription fees have not changed in ages, they got to make up the money somehow. And I would rather pay $20, $30 at an MT event a couple, 3 times a year over paying an extra $10 a month for over the entire year.
How common are the MT events?
We have currently, because the schedule just changed, we have 4 a year that are our MT events. This just changed this year. So they are in March and May, September and November. So I have most of what I need, so I don't really spend a lot of money on them. But there are people who are coming back to the game because their stint of having to deal with real life is over, or who are creating new characters and are, oh crap, I need another blah shiny toy. Or the one thing that I do actually spend money on is um, there are ways to adjust your character's appearance, like special face shapes or eye colors or whatnot. I've spent I've spent a couple dollars on those because you can't get them from an empath shifting your form.
You have a question you want to write down? Sorry.
Yeah, there.
Hey, you did it to Ashva, so.
I did indeed do a Tachyon.
And then he did it to you too.
Yeah. I brought. This is payback.
Uh-oh. Have you read it yet?
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, I wrote it, and he was like, "Yes, that's exactly the most polite question I would ask." So, again, it comes down to somebody for years, and things happen.
So, any wild stories from Dragon Realms?
I'm trying to find ones that don't require so much backstory context, but yeah, a lot of them require a whole dissertation.
I mean, I'm here all night, so.
There are maybe not so much wild stories, but the little vignettes, the smaller role play opportunities, the disliking the guild leaders in most areas so much that you go around to all of the other guild leaders to level up and say, okay, so what are you going to tell me? I don't like you either. And going on to the next one. And when you finally hit that last point where you're going to level up, going back to the one that you like the most and having somebody that matters to you be there for your last one. Or things like during the pandemic, we opened up all of the old, not all, but we had opened up for us most of our old paid quests, the ones that you used to spend a lot of money on, and being able to go through those with friends and enjoy just the experience without having to pay for it. No, we didn't get any prizes, but sitting there and watching somebody who had never been on this quest react to how the the great big surprise or the big bad appearance, having them do that, having them react to the puzzles and the fights and the, oh, that's what this is referencing in town. Oh, okay, that was amazing. And it is the smaller stories for me, not the great big fights or the going down into a demon's soul. It's the it's the small details that most people are never going to know about. That's what I appreciate.
Okay. Any specific examples?
Um,
If it's contextless, that might even be funnier, actually.
it's having somebody redecorate an entire home so that it can be used as an abattoir to remove an eye as part of a role play thing.
Avatar?
Um, uh, a place where you let blood in a meat locker where
Okay.
you can where all the blood happens, but an entire house was redecorated with like stone and metal so that it could be hosed down essentially, because removing an eye kind of messy.
I would imagine.
Yeah, so little things like that.
So, any wild stories from SimuCon?
Last year I turned the panels into a drinking game. That's and multiple bottles were consumed. I am not that dumb this year. I have not come across anyone making special friends.
Special friends. Do you want to tell me about that?
Friends. Conventions that I've been to for another game that I played when I was running security for our cons, there were people who would be caught in flagrante in stairwells or without having actually finished closing the doors to their rooms or outside, or so they were making very special friends. I have not caught any of that here, and I'm very happy.
Okay.
Hey, look, if you come across somebody who's doing that, you got to give them a critique.
Mid, well, as they're going,
Yeah,
just,
and come on, do it better, be louder.
Gotta get those like the judge signs
Yeah,
for gymnastics.
exactly.
3 out of 10,
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff Melly would do too. Sometimes the bleed is real.
So it's up to you again. Are you wanting to skip the political, or do you want to go for it? It's up to you.
I would prefer to skip the political because I don't have enough knowledge about one of them. One of them I am rapidly rampant about, and I'm an asshole. So yeah, let's please skip that part.
All right.
Yeah.
So I know you talked about you played GemStone a little bit,
Yep.
but do you play other mods at all, or?
No, because DR is pretty all involving. But through some friends that I play, through some DR friends, I play other games, tabletop games, or other RPGs. Like Thursday night is Steam night. We play Steam games together, or yeah.
Well, anything on Steam in particular, or
We kind of rotate because everybody has one game that they just really don't like because of the topic or the way that the game plays or things like that. So we just rotate through the games that we all have in common, and somebody just sucks it up for the week.
okay? And oh, by the way, the letter. You were off screen, but so when I was in Ashevin, Vinyu, he got a special note from you, much like
Yes.
you've gotten two today,
Yes.
and you asked him if he's going to write an apology.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us why you did that? I know you told me in person earlier,
Right.
but
Mostly because I was giving him crap because I know he's not really ever going to write this letter. It's just not going to happen. But I wanted to give him crap and to show the way that you are when you're playing these games, your decisions can have years long repercussions and storylines that come out of them. And your actions really do have an impact. Sometimes it's not a good impact. Sometimes it just creates a long running joke. And it's great to see how what you have done really does matter.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other hobbies or interests you want to talk about?
I have really bad crafting ADHD. I'm on my third craft of the con. I'm working on a blanket right now over there. I'm knitting, which apparently knitting is on the photo scavenger hunt. So I've already had people be like, "Hey, about that." So yeah, but I do that. I do read a ton. I have two different Kindles with me. They're each on different accounts, plus my phone, plus a dead tree, plus. So I read a lot.
Okay. Well, you've got a couple wild cards. You can pick one from the pile too if you'd like as well.
Okay. So this is the speaking of repercussions. This one is from Binu, asking why don't you hunt? When I started playing Melee, empaths could not hunt. Period. A single mistake would be enough to knock you out of the ability to heal forever. That has been changed because they realized that this was really borking people hardcore because you could not recover from it. Now we can. We can hunt constructs because they are not living beings. We can hunt with the spell. We can hunt the undead. But it still doesn't feel right. Plus, I find it really, really horrifically boring to sit there and I do mean horrifically boring. Like, this is what I would do if I had insomnia level of boring. Sit there and watch the attack scroll going over and over and over on my screen. The same things over and over again.
Just don't look at them because they're the wrong color.
Yeah. But it's still motion and it still keeps catching my eye. And yeah. If I'm going to be in game, I want to be doing something that I like. Now, I will hunt like maybe once a month, couple 3 months. Usually, if I'm feeling guilty or if I've been bribed or blackmailed into it, I will go hunt and I'll spend an hour or two doing it. And this does put me behind the curve power wise because there are people who go out and hunt daily, other empaths who go out and hunt daily. And I'm never going to be as good at stuff as they are. And I'm mostly okay with it. Other people have opinions about my character being okay with it.
Well, don't worry because I'm also an empath who doesn't hunt daily.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's that. I think we have another wild card here.
Yeah. This one I'm going to need my glasses for because I didn't write it. So. And it's in yellow.
Do you want me to try?
Want me to read it for you?
The yellow is really.
I might bring out another marker. That is. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Here's the mic.
Because of your extreme love for hunting, how long in real time is your longest time hunting in one area?
There are people who can change out of hunting grounds after a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, especially for the lower to mid-level ones. I have spent 3 real life years in the same hunting ground. Yeah, and this is not a high level hunting ground. Most people are out of it in a couple of weeks. I spent 3 years there.
Well, your friend says 4.
4 has it been that long? Yeah, 4 is a possibility. It's yeah. So I finally moved out though. A month ago, last month, 2 months ago. I don't know. Has it been that long? But yeah, I finally moved out of there. I haven't gone back to the new hunting ground since, so that's why it's kind of sketchy on time. But yeah, this and I still log in every day. I still spend a couple minutes in at least every day, even on days where I'm super swamped. Yeah.
So the empath is supposed to feel sympathy towards everyone and empathy, I guess, towards everyone. But not in this one hunting region for 4 years.
So like I said, we can fight constructs, and these were onyx gargoyles, which they're made out of stone. They're not living beings. We have the ability to do a perceive health, which is for me counting everybody's heartbeats within a range that's determined by a mix of our empathy skill, and I think perception ties into it. But we can count heartbeats for rooms away. And constructs don't have heartbeats, so they don't count, so we can kill them. But if you're only hunting for like an hour at a time once a month, you stay in the same area for a while. But they're not actual living beings, so I'm just breaking statues.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Speaking, walking.
Yeah. You hush.
Well, hey, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Of course, now you throw me the hard question at the very, very end. I think that, if at all possible, I think most people should attend a SimuCon at least once. Well, okay, twice, because you got to do things twice. The first impression might be wrong. My first impression was horrifically wrong, but you try it a couple times. It's not. This isn't Gen Con. We're not sitting at 50,000 people, all assholes and elbows, and stepping on each other just to get somewhere. But sitting down and sharing a drink with the people from the other game absolutely happened last night, and it's just the other side isn't scary. We're nerds who play the same style of game, different time zone for the game, but we're still all hanging out, and it's a way to see people in a fashion that you never have. There are people that I would not say I'm best friends with in game.
Like who?
I'm going to politely decline to respond to that on the basis that, oh my god, I don't need my ass kicked. But I can sit down at a table with them and laugh and talk, because what happens in character and what happens out of character shouldn't bleed over to each other.
Okay.
That's a good way to have just nastiness happen.
So what was the first impression? Your first SimuCon not so great.
So a couple years ago, I flew in, and I flew from where I was living at the time, and I got routed through DFW, and I got trapped there. My plane got canceled, or it got delayed and delayed and delayed and canceled, and they were like, oh yeah, well, in 24 hours we'll happily get you there. I'm like, I'm supposed to be there by now. And now you're telling me I have to wait 24 more hours to even possibly get on a plane? So the person I was flying with, we got rerouted. And we weren't the only ones that this happened to that were coming to game, but we got rerouted. And then there was an additional 4-hour drive. And then there was the fact that my luggage didn't show up. And so here I am in the same underwear for 2 days and not having any of my luggage. I'm feeling gross. Because travel is never fun, never, a clean aspect in the first place. But I'm feeling nasty. I'm feeling exhausted. Because I feel like I've been in DFW for 18 hours at that point. Then in a car and I'm tired. I can't hear anything. It's loud. It's overwhelming. My social anxiety is cranked to 11. And that was the high point. It was just really bad. And then I was running a D&D game and I sat down, put my caffeine, and it spilled all over the adventure. All over the table, all over me. It's like, you know what?
I actually still have somewhere around here some of the materials from the D&D
Awesome.
from last year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me do it this year.
Aw.
I paid $5. They gave me a refund, but they said, well, we're going to make sure that one of the people who actually plays the game gets in a slot. I told them that's fine.
Yeah, I find that kind of fair, but sad, but fair.
Well, they had these really cool sheets actually, where they actually a scroll.
Yeah.
Did they do that this year too, or?
We didn't do it this year because it was a different setting for the game this year. But yeah, I dumped it all over everything for that night when I was running, and I was like, you know what? This is my low point. It's going to get better from here, and it did. I was like, okay, let's try. And I was very, very unhappy still at the end. I was like, you know what? I've got this philosophy. Try it twice. Make sure. And last year was better. I wasn't as overwhelmed. I wasn't as intimidated or anything like that. I actually knew who these people were face to face. And it got better. And this year is even better. And I expect next year will still be awesome. And I enjoyed it. And plus being able to run D&D, it's a very meta nerd thing to do that at con. So I find it fun.
Well, I had a lot of fun last time. So.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. Would have been nice to do it again this year.
Yeah, I would. I do know that we had all of the slots filled for the games that we ran. So now that the game session is over, everybody's done. We ran part of the GS history because last year was the kind of the in between, more DR leaning. After we blew up one of the moons, after one of the moons was blown up, not by us, but it turned into a dragon, and it was fighting the dragon so that the future could occur. This year we went back in Gemstone's history to Castle Melshiv and the Fandrel and that mess. It's all deep lore that I'm just about. But it's how Despana turned into our demon, Melshiv, in DragonRealms. And there are big, huge air bunnies around turned into, because we don't know how it happened. There's 50, 70,000 years between us. Time is mushy. So
was it that long between GemStone and DragonRealms?
I think with a question mark. I've heard different timelines. I've heard everything from it's 10,000 years difference to 100,000 years difference. So big air bunnies on timeline. If they never give us an answer, they never have to give us an answer.
Tell me what an air bunny is.
It's the big air quotes. You've got little bunny ears going around, hopping around your words. So.
Well, hey, anything else you want to talk about?
No. But thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this. This is different.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melly.
My pleasure. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
I don't think anyone else here because there's only a few other people in the room are going to be doing an interview. I don't think.
I don't think so.
So I think I want to wait until everyone gets back
Yeah,
from
because
panels.
we have the crafting panel next, and then tonight is
Oh, we're still on cam. Just so I'll turn this off real quick.
Okay.